Yo guys, Awesome Chess Blunderer here, and today I have a game that's played between Levon Aronian and Magnus Carlsen in the Altibox Norway Championship or something like that. And yeah, so this is round 2, and Magnus Carlsen has just drawn Aronian in the classical game, and now they're heading towards the Armageddon game, and yeah, so let's just get into the game. So Levon Aronian's white and Magnus Carlsen's black, and he plays e4, Magnus Carlsen responds with c5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, the Rossolimo variation, the Nesmedinov Rossolimo attack, g6, the fianchetto variation, bishop takes on c6, d takes on c6, it's all theory, and here d3, and in the game between, in their classical game, black played queen to c7, and the game was drawn, as you guys know, as I told you before, it's drawn. But here Magnus Carlsen decides to go for another idea, which is bishop g7, and yeah, and white plays h3 just to prevent bishop to g4, you know, with those pins, and e5 just placing a pawn in the center, castle just getting king to safety, queen c7, bishop e3 just attacking this pawn, and here black would play b6. It doesn't really make sense to go for queen to b6, you know, threatening the b2 pawn, because you can just play knight bd2, and after queen takes on b2, white can play knight c4, and he has a sequence to trap the queen. After queen to b4, as you know, queen to b5 threatens, queen to b5 will be met with a knight to d6, so those nasty fork, and so instead you gotta play queen to b4, and a4, and followed by bishop d2 is just simply winning. No matter what move you play, you're gonna win the queen. So it doesn't make sense to play queen to b6 here. So b6 just also protecting this pawn, and maybe even preparing bishop fianchetto, but it's unlikely because this pawn's just blocking the bishop. So knight bd2 just developing. I probably want to place this knight to c4 to put some pressure on e5. Knight to e7, just developing. a3, just preparing to expand b4 and trade off the pawns. Castle, and now b4. C takes b4, a takes b4, and f5. So now the rook has this semi-open file, which is good for white, and in the game between Ho Yifan and another Chinese player, which is 2300, she played Ho Yifan's white here, and the opponent played h6, and in that game she played knight to c4, bishop to e6, rook to a3, and just trades off, and yeah, and white ended up winning the game. So rook to a3, the purpose is to maybe play queen to a1 just to put some pressure on a7, and even swap over to the king side if he can in the future. But this isn't played in the game, and Magnus Carlsen played Magnus Carlsen played a different move. He played f5, and it is now a new game. And f5 threatens f4, winning the bishops. Winning the bishop, and yeah, you gotta move your knight now just to make some room for the bishop here. And f4 now is just nothing because bishop retreats. So you play bishop e6, developing, attacking the strong knight here, maybe even wanting to trade off. And knight to g5 is played here, and here Magnus won bishop to d7, because if he tries to trade off this bishop for this strong knight, now this knight is also pretty strong, controlling the e6 square on this knight, and you gotta play something like rook to f6 to defend this e6 square, and you have to keep watching out for the e6 square, because you know you might run into some queen forks here, you might run into some forks. So Magnus Carlsen doesn't feel like going for this, and he decides to retreat his bishop to d7, queen to e2, h6, just kicking the knight away, knight to f3, f4, kicking the bishop away from the e3 square, bishop d2, just trying to switch to c3, putting some more pressure on this pawn, g5, here because you want to make room for the knight to go to g6 so you can defend this pawn, because bishop to c3 is coming. And yeah, bishop to c3 is played and knight to g6 is played, just protecting this pawn. This pawn is kind of weak. d4, just wanting to trade pawns and the bishops. And yeah, so he takes on d4, bishop takes on d4, and now g3, just g4, sorry. It's just a really good way to put your bishop on g4 and put pressure, because now you have to take, because if you don't, then you're just gonna drop a pawn. So you take, h takes on g4, bishop takes on g4, and now c3, because you want to defend this bishop, because this knight is not pinned and it's useless for the moment. And now yeah, Levon doesn't really want to capture the bishop here, because it doesn't do him any good. He wants Magnus to capture his bishop. So now c5 is played, just trading. So b takes on c5. B takes on c5, just forcing Levon to trade off the dark square bishop. Now bishop takes, queen takes, sorry, and now knight to d6, just preparing queen to c4, and ultimately making the knight just to unpin the knight, maybe. And Magnus doesn't let that happen. He doesn't want this knight to be unpinned without a tempo, so he plays king to h8, and now queen to c4 does nothing, and because bishop takes on f3 will just ruin your pawn structure. So knight to f5 instead is played, and just make it. This is a really strong knight, and you don't really want to capture this knight with your bishop and go on the defensive here. So Magnus found a really interesting way to do an exchange sec. So he played rook takes on f5, e takes on f5, and now knight to h4, just threatening to win this knight. So you gotta do something here. You play, and Levon plays f6. Magnus takes with the queen, and now rook to a6 comes with the tempo, and this queen, it's just to lure this queen away from this g file. This so now queen to g7. Now the queen's controlling and threatening to win the knight again. Pinning this pawn and threatening to win the knight again, and now Levon takes on h6 just to divert the queen's attention from the g file, and yeah, now takes. And now Magnus Carlsen, before the queen was on this diagonal, now Magnus Carlsen can give a check because this queen is not controlling the diagonal anymore. So yeah, he does this and unpins his knight. So queen to e5 check, queen to g7 trades off queens, and now knight takes on h4. This is now a pretty bad knight, as you can see. You don't really want to go back to f3 because your pawn structure will be ruined. Now f5 and g6 are just controlled by black. So yeah, Now a5 is played by black, and black's just gonna try and push his pass pawn to victory. Even though white has only 2 pawn islands compared to black's 3 pawn islands, um black is just better with an outside pass pawn here. So rook to a1, just challenging, putting some pressure, and a4 is played. Now rook to a3 just to prevent this pawn from advancing further, and now king to f6 is played. King to f6, and just going towards the enemy territory, and maybe even just going towards the enemy territory, and maybe even picking up this pawn or putting some pressure on this rook. Now king to f1, just activating your king. You want to activate your king just to challenge this king from moving around the board. Now king to e5, king to e1, king to d5, king to not king to d2, f3, sorry, f3, just kicking the bishop out, and now this knight can be free. And now bishop to h5, and now you don't. Now the best move here is knight to f5 here, and yeah, but I don't know why white didn't play. He played king to d2 instead, thinking he has time to activate his knight later. Or maybe he's slow on time and didn't see knight to f5. Who knows? Bishop e8 is played. Now white has another chance to play to bring his knight to f5 again, or even try to like play something like g3, sacrificing a pawn for the moment and perhaps winning a pawn later and making this knight active too. But he plays king to c1. It's a really funny move here. I have no idea what he was thinking. And king to c4 is played, just putting some, just controlling the king's um exit route from. So knight to f5, finally activating his knight, and now rook to a6, because the knight was threatening knight to d6, winning the bit, perhaps trading off for the bishop, because the bishop's just better in an open position. Now knight to g7, bishop to g6, and king to d2, and king to d5, and in this position, Magnus Levon Aronian resigned, white resigned, and yeah, black won the game, because this knight is just trapped here. This knight has no escape routes now. All his escape routes are controlled by the king or the bishop. And now the plan is to march towards the knight and pick up the knight. Now black's plan is to do this. And yeah, there's no way to stop it. I mean, like, black is just gonna be up material, and yeah, and it's Magnus Carlsen, the world champion. He's gonna like, yeah, he'll find a way to win this game. So yeah, that is all, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and see ya.